Well, I feel like I always start out videos in my truck at this point, but we haven't even made any videos for a while, so hopefully this video will kind of explain why we haven't been posting anything or what's kind of been going on. So it's been about 100 and something degrees every day, and every day it's not 100 and something degrees. It's raining, and it's finally starting to cool off a little bit. I think today's high is about 80. We're gonna start this video with prefacing, I recorded a bunch of stuff last week, scouting deer, getting ready for deer season, and my mic died right after the video started, and I didn't realize it. And then I went out and scouted deer again, not realizing my mic was dead, so I had no audio for any of this. The first day I was scouting some public land because I want to kill a public land buck really bad. But at the same time, I can never find the big bucks on public land unless it's somewhere where you got to walk forever. And chances are, if I kill a deer during the middle of the week, like when I have time off work, I'm not gonna have a lot of help dragging that deer out. So I don't want to shoot a deer, 2 miles into the woods. Saw one spike at one of the places I went to and got it on camera, and it was, a decent little scouting trip. Saw a bunch of does, a couple little spikes. I've had permission on this private land to hunt. I've never really done it except for during rifle season when I go out with all of them. But nobody bow hunts out there anymore, so I figured I'd give it a shot this year. So last week, I actually went up to hang some trail cameras, just some cheap SD card ones. Yeah, I was walking in on the main path and spooked up a couple does, and then saw some antlers through the brush as they were running past it. And turns out that was a huge deer. I saw him again walking over the path up the top of the hill about 80 to 100 yards away, and I just saw a bunch of antlers. But today, here in just a little bit, we're gonna head back to that private land spot. We're gonna move some of the cameras around. We're gonna pull the SD cards, review the footage on this video. It's only 10 acres, so there's not a lot of room out there to operate, but I think one of the spots I got a camera set up in should be pretty good. But hopefully we see some deer on these trail cameras and we can actually get a video pushed out for you guys, because we've been slacking lately, trying to figure out what to post, what to do. Well, just made it down to the timber. There's so many cobwebs and it's overgrown everywhere. Still got to brush hog it and clean up the path this year, but we're gonna go check these trail cameras. Hopefully they worked. Hopefully we got some pictures of some deer. We might move one of them around if need be, but let's see if we find anything out here. Well, we just made it to our first camera. I'm gonna check it just on my phone, make sure it's working. And if we actually have pictures on it, I'll pull the SD card off it. All right, good news, camera worked. Just the quick glance of looking through it, I saw some does on there. I didn't look at everything yet, so. On to the next one. I am kind of passing through some deer paths right now. I'm trying to stay off them, but this camera is down just where a bunch of paths intersect, kind of close to my father-in-law's stand, but I was planning on it from the ground. There's a pretty good ground coverage there, so hopefully this is going to be the camera that actually has, all the deer and everything on it. And this camera's right down here somewhere. So that's where I have that camera, and I was planning to kind of hide up in there. And all these paths are kind of intersecting right in this area. So let's pull this SD card. We'll leave this camera, but we'll pull this SD card, see what's on it. Saw a couple of deer on there. I don't know what they were or anything. Should be ready to go. All right, we got this camera down. All right, I think I got it decided where to put this camera up at. Quite a few paths in here, and it's kind of probably 30 yards, 20 yards in front of that tiny stand. So if I see a lot of deer in here, I can just hunt out of that tiny stand. So let's get a camera set up and let's get on out of here. All right, we've got our final camera set up, so we're gonna get ready to bounce out here. Well, we're in my messy garage now, but I got home, did a couple things, and then Started looking over some of these trail camera pictures. I already looked through them just to delete all the nonsense that was in them, but we got quite a few bucks on here. So the first place I'll start is the camera I said that had a couple of intersections of some deer paths. We only have one buck on this camera, and it looks like, if I remember, my computer won't start working. It looks like the buck showing up on the camera could be two different bucks, but we got one deer on one day, and then on a different day we have a buck running across the screen, and then just some pictures of a fawn. When I show all these pictures, the time and date's messed up. I apparently didn't set it on the camera, even though I thought I did. One decent sized buck out of there, and I've never shot a deer with a bow before, so he's definitely gonna be a shooter for me. If I saw him, he's not a bad buck at all. Then, as you saw, I had my camera on that path, which I believe this is that camera, which this one has a lot more action on it, and I figured it would because the deer love that, mode path, but I don't really know anywhere good sitting in there to hunt because I don't know exactly where they're going to be coming from. I need to get good pictures of bucks on here. I'll probably make a move to hunt. Kind of knew that path if I'm not seeing much else, because there were a lot of deer here. I'm just trying to catch them before they get here. Got a bunch of pictures of the same doe hanging out, and then it jumps to this little 8-point. It looks like right before sunset, maybe sunrise the next morning. Can't quite tell, just because that time and everything's on it not right. I can't quite tell if this is sunrise or sunset. But it got a little 8-point. He doesn't look like he's anything huge. And just more pictures of does. And then at nighttime, we got another doe coming through. Morning comes, some more does. And then this deer actually very much so interests me, because this first picture, you can tell that left side just looks like kind of a spike with a knob sticking off of it. And then as you get further along here, clicking through him, he's not a bad sized buck. And then there he picks his head up good, and you can see he's a good 8-point on that right hand side. That left hand side looks like it's just the main beam, a brow tine, and then a little nub, so maybe some mess up antler situation going on there. But I'd probably shoot this deer too. Never shot a deer with my bow before, so I'm not going to be incredibly picky, just not going to shoot anything too small. And then actually in this picture where he's lifting his head in the back, I can see another deer, but I can't tell if it is a deer that, can't tell if it's a deer that I've seen on any of these pictures. I can just tell it's a buck. So there's another buck in the background there. Just can't quite tell if he's one of these on these pictures. And as I keep going, there's some does, more does. So I mean, we got 3 or 4 pictures of bucks in a week of having these cameras out. And now I've moved one of them to a more hunting spot rather than just on the path. But I do believe that the mode path one is the one with most deer. And I don't really want to hunt right up on that path, but I will. So I think I'm going to give it another week, go check cameras one more time, and if there's a lot of deer on those after this week, I'll just leave it where it's at, and that's going to be the 2 spots I hunt out there. But if not, I might move a camera back to another spot on this path since I'm seeing so many deer through there. So yeah, we do have a couple bucks on camera, and I think all 3 of the ones that I can tell are different deer I'd probably take a poke at this year. That smaller 8, just depending how big he actually is when I see him in person. Because the ones of him walking away where it switches to night vision, I can't really tell how big he is. But the one with the messed up antler, he looks like a decent sized deer. Looks kind of maybe on the younger side, I can't quite tell. The single buck I have, which actually it's possibly 2 deer. The one I have on the camera at the intersection point with less pictures, that deer looks pretty good. And then the last picture of a buck I have is one running through there, and it's 5 days after I put the cameras up. So just the other day, and it's could be a completely different deer. I can't tell. And then just the fawn running through there. So, I mean, with these pictures, just having these cameras out a week, I am pretty confident in seeing deer out there. So we're probably going to keep hunting those spots. We're going to check cameras probably, today's Monday. We placed them last Monday. We checked them today and then moved them. So I'll probably give it another week before I check them again. And then after that, if I'm still seeing a good amount of deer, I'm just going to leave them alone for this last month until season, until maybe check them one more time. But hopefully we got on a deer this year. Hopefully you enjoyed this kind of prep video for deer hunting. I'm gonna go shoot my bow now, get some more practice in, because Lord knows I need it with a bow. So thank you guys for watching this video, and hopefully we'll see you hitting a deer during deer season.